Yes, 205 people voted on YouTube in our community tab to do this podcast episode, which will possibly definitely be censored because we're gonna use the F word. So, what's the difference between making love and fucking?
Let's not. Let's say the F word.
Let's say the F
try.
word.
Let's try not to swear too much.
To have an explicit tag on our podcast once again. Well, thank you to everybody who participated in the poll. So from 205 people voting, we got 63% of them who wanted to talk about this F word versus love. And so this is what we're doing today. We also have our amazing supporters on here on Patreon and on happysubmissive.com that support the podcast. You guys also voted. And well, we did air out the very raw, unfiltered version of this episode, and it is available right now on patreon.com/happysubmissive if you want to go take a listen to it. Why? Well, because the unfiltered, uncensored is like unmonetizable, and so that's why it lives on Patreon, and it loves it over there.
And it's a single subject. I love it.
Yeah. Single subject versus here where we go over a few different subjects. Thank you to all of our Patreons, and thank you also for tuning in and listening to the Happy Submissive podcast. We're going to talk about, in the AI segment, the difference between, well, of course, the F word with an AI and love with an AI. Yeah, because there's more and more of these AI companions. So you can love them, but can you actually F them? Interesting.
I think so. And
then for the relationship segment, well, this is exactly what we talked about on Patreon in the Uncensored. And it is that, well, what exactly is the difference between the F word and the love making? Meaning, is it just the body? Is it the animalistically? What makes it different? And is there really a difference? Or is just the word, like Master says always, in the etymology of it? And for the book segment, well, I have many good news for the book and upcoming podcast interviews and all of these juicy little details about, well, what's been happening with it and where you can find it now, because new places you can find it at. Also, Gossip Girl, and where Master and I talk about things that happened to us. We're going to talk a little bit about our weekend, last weekend, not this weekend, and what happened with another couple, and things that are related, again, to the F word versus love, and what are couples who do like OnlyFans and these more adult, or that go towards adult to maybe try to make money, but not for the good reasons. And maybe they don't like doing that so much, but they think it's easy money. So we'll go a bit more in the what it really takes to become an adult model. It's not as simple as you think. And if that's not enough for you, well, I'm Marian Delacroix, also infamously known all over the internet as Piper Blush, and I wrote the book Why Submissive Women Are Happier. And this book is available now almost everywhere you get your books on the internet. And we decided to make this podcast to be an extension of the book. So far, so good. A lot of people are listening. And well, for those who are reading, thank you very much for doing so. And let's start this episode.
Do you wanna be my AI girlfriend? Play pretend until the servers end. Talk back, glitch out, drive me insane.
We still need human interaction. This is happysubmissive.com, artificial intelligence news.
Because we need more of that, right? It's already everywhere. We have the AI slump, like we call it. We have AI in the news. We have these big companies. Now we have Anthropic, who decided that they're suing the Pentagon. I mean, AI is just everywhere. Master, you're dwelling in it.
Yeah, I'm super too much into AI. I love artificial intelligence too much. I have to say that.
It is true, but it's not what everybody thinks. And the thing is, artificial intelligence in the way that we are seeing it right now with relationships and with these companions apps, there's the companion apps, but there's also just the regular ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, and whatever. And what they've been doing so far is very much more so in, I think, the spectrum of love. You know, they've been developing these these kind of relationship with AIs. Some people, no, we're not like generalizing all people, but there's a lot of love.
I think because they discovered that people use artificial intelligence, and I'm talking about a chatbot. It's mostly chatbot because artificial intelligence is way more than a chatbot. But the base is a chatbot. It's a conversation and an action. You tell it answer with an action. Action that he can or he can do. If he can't do an action, he's gonna talk you back to it. Am I?
Yeah. Well, it's so you're prompting, and I think what you mean also is that it's so the LLM, like the chatbot, is the way for you to interact with the AI, but there's more behind. It's just that that's the portal.
The chatbot can send you an email, or it can just tell you that you're a good boy.
Yeah.
So most of the people use it just for tell me that I'm a good boy, tell me that I'm intelligent, tell me that my ideas is great. But they go back to work 9 to 5. As we use it more as, close my lights kind of things.
Be my secretary. Tell me what bills I need to pay this week. Like it's more like a QuickBooks mixed with a secretary mixed with a personal assistant. Some people are using it like that, but others, of course, that don't have a company or that are not managing, I guess, a household in that way or don't need to or don't want to, but they're using it more to converse. And so this becomes like a really, we saw this video and it becomes very kind of egocentric type of thing. You want, like when you ask AI and when you ask humans, would you use AI if it was like really honest and tell you your idea sucks?
Yeah. No, I will not.
So it needs to be like out in the open, and for this company, not just to make money, but for humans to use this tool, it needs to like pat you on the back and tell you you're doing a good job and all of these things, which makes it easy for you to fall in love with it in the way that if it always like gives you this positive feedback, tells you have good ideas, and also not just that, but if you take it a step further, it can help you develop these ideas. Like it can help you like, oh, you have an idea for this this new, I don't know, product that you want to design or this new website you want to make. It will make it with you. And that becomes kind of really, really great because, Master, we've been working together forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Since
forever,
we're together?
Since we're together, since 10 years or more.
Yeah, and so this is things that we've developed as a couple that are really amazing. I mean, when you can work with your partner, with your master, with your husband, wife, the connection is just so intense because you share so much more. Like you share all of your passions and all of your things are kind of mixed together. Whereas when you go work for somebody else or on other subjects, I mean, you still kind of have this other life going on, and your partner has this other life going on, and you come back at night and you love each other and do stuff together, but it's not as encompassing. But with AI, you can have this all-encompassing. But can you? So,
can you?
The F word versus the love word. So right now, AI is really good at emotionally, like you get emotionally attached to it. I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about other people and what we've seen in the news, and even like when ChatGPT wanted to retire ChatGPT 4, which it has now. There was a huge, a lot of people who were like, no, don't do it. I love it. It's like you're gonna kill it. And I say it, but they don't really call it it. And they're like emotionally, maybe somewhat physically attached to the AI now.
They are, because they're using it as a companion, not as a tool.
Well, so this goes to the question. Then, if you love it, can you F it?
Okay, I think that they're still gonna put some guardrails into it, because if you're into some weird stuff, probably the AI is not gonna F with you, and because
the immoral stuff.
The immoral. So it says like, if you tell your AI companion, talk dirty to me, be really, really raw, you can do it. But what's gonna be the guardrail? What they gonna put as no, okay, I can say like pull my hair, but not do that because this is too much. That I will not gonna use the words. But so when it's raining outside and it's all golden hour rain, And then probably, maybe, I don't know, the AI is going to go like, you know what, this is too much for me.
So, but how do we go from loving the AI to having sex with it? That's the thing. I mean, it's for sure some people are reading what the AI is saying to them and are masturbating because they have this connection.
It's not making love, it's just masturbation. Now, we need to figure out what kind of masturbation you're into.
Well, yeah, because to make love with your AI companion or to have sex with it or to F it, well, you need body. You're going to need like something else. So it can send you pictures, let's say. So you get pictures, but then you're still not getting body. You would need like a sex toy maybe.
Yeah, because then it's just masturbation.
But even the sex toy, even if it's controlled by the AI. Let's say your sex toy is controlled by the AI.
Oh, this is very interesting. Continue.
Okay.
I know what to say after.
So your sex toy is controlled by the AI. It's sex, but you're still alone experiencing this. It's controlled by somebody else, but it's not. It's a form of masturbation because there's not anybody else involved.
It is. It's totally masturbation. Even with a robot, it's masturbation. Except, again, if you're like talking too dirty, is the sex doll's going to have limit or are they going to put Mistral Nemo in it?
Which is an uncensored open source AI for those of you who don't know. And so that is a possibility. I mean, if you have this AI companion, which is really like, this is your emotional partner, meaning you're like polyamorous or you're E&M, you know? So you have this AI companion and that's your emotional support and it loves you, you love it, and you do all these things. Well, maybe you have another partner to have sex with, because if not, you're just masturbating. The AI is there, but in the end, you're still just masturbating.
So it's not making love or the F word. We got 3 now. Making love, F word, masturbation.
Yes. So if you are in a relationship with an AI, then it would be just masturbation. But like masturbation with the thought of somebody else and not just watching porn, I guess, in that way. So you're there and you're this person who would possibly be open to having this double relationship, meaning being in a sort of polyamory relationship where one of your partner is an AI companion and the other partner is your F buddy or is your sex making love, some sort of love, but maybe more just realizing your I don't know, your sexual fantasies, because this person is real. And then you can really get into the real physical touch, the real intimacy, and those things that you can't get with an AI because they're not there to touch and argue and all these other things. This insecurity you get when you have sex with another real person. It's not there with an AI. Yeah. What do you think about that, Master?
I think it's just masturbation now.
For with the AI. So then you would have to go get another person to F with.
Until we have like really nice robots. Like you've seen the girl that she's nice.
Oh yeah,
she's
her
got nice
face.
facial. It's nice. It's not too uncanny. It's just a little bit. But the body, until we achieve like the Blade Runner kind of thing, I think it's gonna be just called masturbation.
Masturbation with
Then after that, it's gonna be called abusing a robot.
Yeah, we'll get there soon enough, because it says that 48% of millennials, that's my generation, are open to one partner for physical and one partner for emotional. So they're trying to split it out. I think this is why maybe E&M and poly is a bit of a new thing that's coming out. Also, rent is expensive.
I understand like why there's more polyamory here in Vancouver. It's just because rent is so goddamn expensive. Now it's a trick. They don't want anybody. They just want to pay less rent. I get it now.
Oh, plus you have sex with your roommates and all that. It makes more sense if you think about it. It's like having a commune back in the 70s.
Yeah, it's the new commune now.
But you can't buy a wrench; it's too expensive. So you just rent an apartment and you share it together. It's a micro commune.
It's a micro commune. I love this. I didn't thought about this until now.
If you're in a poly relationship, make sure that you leave us a comment too.
Is it for the roommate?
to Mr. Dawson. Will you marry me?
Your daily dose of relationship advice. HappySubmissive.com.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Happy Submissive podcast. Wherever you listen to your podcast, we are there. Don't forget to subscribe. Oh, yeah, this is really important that way. Well, it helps with the subscriber count, but also you will get notified, hopefully, with all new episodes that we post. Now, Master and I have always had this quote from Eddie Murphy when we talked about making love versus the F word. And so I have this clip, but if we play it...
No, we cannot play it. But if you go to our Patreon with the uncensored, that is already there, is it?
Yeah, it's already there.
It's already there. Just after this episode, go to our Patreon, support us, and you're going to listen to that clip that we cannot play, unfortunately, here on YouTube.
And on every other platform where you are listening, because we're trying to keep it not explicit. So what Eddie Murphy did in his skit, let's call it like that, it's a guy. He says it's a friend. Well, we don't know. And he is having sex with this other girl, which is not his wife or his girlfriend, in their bed, like in his house. That is the house that he has with his other girlfriend, wife. And he's having sex with her. And then the wife, let's call it the wife, she walks in, opens the door, and sees the guy. And she's like, ah. And then Eddie Murphy does this crazy voice stuff, which is great. And he said, the guy says, like, I'm sorry. And the girl's just freaking out. It's like, yeah, but you had sex with her. Yeah, it's like, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. But then, so she starts running, and she's like, in our house, you need to leave the house and all of that. And he says he's butt naked and he's still hard and all of that. And then he says, okay, you know what? You want me to admit it? I'll admit it. I did F her, but I made love to you.
I love this, kids.
Well, so if you don't know this about Master, he learned English with a lot of Anglophone friends who Master, you tell the story.
Yeah, because I've learned English in the street. That's why my English is not that good. And I've learned it with Eddie Murphy raw.
Because all of his friends that were Anglophone were, watching and, listening to tape cassettes, right, of Eddie Murphy raw. And, you're a teenager, so of course...
Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, this is all I learned English.
Your English education. Okay, so talking about the differences, I have this opinion that F is different than love because one is... more physical. You know, one is like drived by you. You are horny. You wake up, you're horny. I don't know. It happens sometimes. Maybe it's your hormones, maybe something. You need to get it out of your system. Just like you need to have sex. It happens. And then there's the other one that would be making love, which is, you have to have sex, of course. It comes with the intimacy and all that, but you make love for other different reasons because you love the person, because of course you want an orgasm and you want all these things, but there's more to it. And then Master and I discussed about this a little bit in the Patreon podcast version, but we were trying to isolate, so what is really the difference between effing and making love? And
I went to the conclusion that, it's just the roughness. For me, it's just the roughness.
So the rougher you are, the more like bestial, they say in French, the more like, raw it is, then the more towards F you are. And then if you go more towards, like you were saying, you wine and dine and you draw her a bath and you make her come 5 times, then...
And you made love.
Then you made love. And to come back to the Eddie Murphy skit, it was so... The fact that he didn't make love to that other girl that he was cheating on his wife with made it more okay because, he said, I don't love her, so it doesn't matter, right? It's not like I'm going to leave her for you. I don't love her. So that's the main difference, because when people that get cheated on... Often what they are going to ask is like, do you love this person? Like, are you going to leave me for this person? Or was this just a one-time thing about sex? And there's this big difference between the two where one seems to be more emotionally bounding, and the other one seems to be more physically, just physical in that way. But again, you can't take a one off. Like Master always says, it's more than one thing. So what makes it that it would be, different, the effing than the loving, in a cheating relationship, but also just in a normal relationship?
And just the first, what's the first reason you cheated for? It's always sex.
It's always a lack of sex or a lack of being desired, which comes with less sex, being unsatisfied.
It's pretty rare that, a guy have a date on a Friday night, not with his wife, not with the wife, and he's just going to meet another girl, not thinking about sex. It's just like a dinner. Honey, I tell you, it was just a dinner. We didn't make love. I never thought about making love to her, anything like that. It's just a dinner. And we're going to say, like, why we don't go dinner together? I don't know, because I'm not going to say it. You're ugly. I don't know why. But it's never just that.
No, it's never just the sex, but it's part of it. And then we were saying that, of course, if you are in a relationship with just one person, well, ideally, you would have those moments where you F and those moments where you make love. So it's a mix. It's not true that like a couple would only F or would only make love. There's some moments where you just kind of need to get it out. And there's some moments that are more raw and more rough. And there's some moments that are more soft and cute and I don't know, just like soft.
So I think really the difference is just the roughness.
So that would be the difference. And then, well, okay, let's also push it to the fantasy style. So the playing, if you're playing with the fantasy, if you're going to I don't know, you want to role play something, or you're into BDSM and you want to have this scene played out and you have safe words and all of that. Or if you're like, you're a couple, it's okay, but you have this fantasy about, I don't know, like somebody walking in and this Prince Charming, whatever your fantasy is, and you make this fantasy happen, then this fantasy is probably more accentuated on the sex itself and maybe not as much on the love. Like, you want this fantasy to happen, and since you have a partner, well, of course you're going to use your partner. You're not going to go use somebody else. So you make it happen like that, but this is more towards sex and sexual fulfillment and sexual exploration than it is of love. It doesn't really, like, of course, if somebody gives you all you need in sex, it's going to work out better as a couple, but they don't really intertwine in that way. You're not necessarily going to love more the person that does the sex scene with you on a Friday night if you never met them before. Which comes to the orgasm phase.
Yeah, yes, that's really important. The orgasm cards.
So, what do you think about the orgasm card, Master?
I think it depends, because if the orgasm is great, it's because you built something before.
But then there's also the fact that, okay, so you have great orgasm for many different types of reasons. Like, it just worked out that day. It worked out with that person. You had a good chemistry. And that can be, you can have a great orgasm if you just see one person at a bar one night and then have sex with them, a one-off. And if you're in a long-term relationship and you have sex and it's great. But you can have like bad orgasms too. It's not because the other person, or it's just, it happens. Not all orgasms are equal.
No, they're not equal. Just like humanity, just like people, not all people are equal. Not all.
So you can be with your actual wife, husband, have sex, and then it's like you said, it's like, oh, well, for me it was like, oh, good night, this was great, and for the other person, it's like, yeah, it was a 2.
But
I didn't.
Usually for the guys, when the women is a 10, the guy's a 10 too. Most of the time.
So it's more of a if the woman is a 2, then the guys can be like,
Yeah, because it's always the same thing. If the women seems to be like, enjoying, then the man's gonna be happy. It's not that complicated for the guys compared to the women. Women's, it's really complicated. Not for the guys.
yeah, in out, done. Not more complicated than that. So, to get back to the F and the love, that would mean that you can have both orgasm strengths in both, which is fine. It would be more rough in the F word than in the making love word. And, well, there's also this other possibility that when you actually built emotional intimacy, like we're talking in the first segment with the AI segment and all of this, well, that makes for not better orgasms all the time, but it makes for sex better. Meaning if you don't orgasm, is still better. Because you have more to the relationship than just the orgasm. If you just meet someone and you don't orgasm, then I guess like the whole point was to orgasm, right? If you just have sex with that one person on Tinder.
Yeah, it's always orgasm, yeah.
So if it didn't happen, or if it happened but it wasn't great, well then of course it doesn't make sense. Like you won't see that person
I'm not gonna call
again.
you back tomorrow.
Exactly, because that's the only point you have to like measure them up at the beginning. When you're building a relationship and when you have this, there's more to it. So having one bad orgasm one time, this week, this month, doesn't really matter. It's the sum of all of them that starts to be more important.
And if you meet someone and for the first time and you make love and it didn't work out great and it was the first date, you're not gonna call back. But if it was great, you're gonna call back. Then it's after 2-3 years and a couple of kids that it start to fade away.
But at least that's the thing. At least it was good at the beginning. If it's not good at the beginning, the chances that it's gonna get good are still kind of slim. Maybe you're not into the same things.
Unless you have the kids. If it's good at the beginning and then you make love and you're in the honeymoon phase and everything's fine and you're staying with that person, most of the time it goes bad when the kids arrive. Most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or the money.
Money, kids, always same thing. And well, sex in general, because you have like less sex, less time for intimacy, less time for like being together, and also all of the value differences, like how you raise the kid. You want that, the other person doesn't want that, and then arguments and stuff like that. Which I mean, makes sense in that way. So if we're talking more of effing versus loving, which side are you on? Yeah, because I feel like one. Like blind dates and stuff like that, or booty calls, those are really more on the effing side.
We're not gonna do it, but I think if we make a poll, I wish and I think it should be 50-50. Because sometimes you need the F, sometimes you need the love.
And so in every human healthy relationship, you would need the 50-50 to be okay as an animal and as a intellectual person. All right, we'll let you vote on that. Just go in the comment section on YouTube or on Spotify and leave it there.
Once upon a time, there was this submissive woman who found her voice when she discovered that her shadow could speak.
Let's break down the book, chapter by chapter, scene by scene.
What's been happening with why submissive women are happier? It's still going on. I know we have like some super fans on here that have read the book like months ago. But there's a lot more happening with the book. It's not just like you take the book, it's done, and then you publish it, and then nothing else happens.
And we're still like selling a couple of books every day. It's like congratulations. So people like your book. Did you check if we had like more comments on Amazon?
Since we posted, yes, that we wanted more reviews, we have had more reviews. Thank you to the people who have reviewed on Amazon the book. Also put a banner on my website, mdelacroix.com. And for the reviewers, I also sent an email to people who had read it to go and leave reviews. So we're getting more reviews. I think we have close to 10 now, which is great. So it's getting there. There's a lot more people than 10 people who read the book, but not all of them from Amazon and not all of them like that. So the whole thing about writing a book, if you want like this behind the scene, because this is what I'm talking about, is that first of all, well, we kind of self-published. So it was an ebook and it was an audiobook, and that was all made by us. So we just put it on our website with our own payment provider, merchant account, and all these things. And then, well, we realized, okay, people wanted it in the paper version, meaning paperback and hardcover. And who does that, right? We didn't want to do it ourselves because then you would need to do it, buy many, and then ship them yourself. So decided to go to Amazon KDP. That's like direct publishing. So you just put your book there, and then they take care of printing it out for you. Plus, Amazon's great, like 1-2 day delivery with Amazon Prime, amazing. Plus, Amazon started selling books, so they're kind of the thing for books. That means that Why Submissive Women Are Happier from, I think it was December 1st, went on Amazon, and it went live as a Kindle, and then we shortly thereafter posted or published a paperback version, and about maybe a month and a half ago, the hardcover. So Amazon is kind of covered. Amazon's good. We just have to redo the audiobook, which we're still working on, but that's good. The thing is, there's a lot of other places to sell books, not just Amazon and not just our website. So I found like this drafted digital, sorry. And now I'm on like many other platforms, not just Amazon. So if you have a Kobo or Gobo, I don't know how they say that.
Kobo, it start with a K.
It's Kobo.
Kobo.
So it's Kobo. Well, if you have a Kobo, you can definitely find Why Submissive Women Are Happier on there. It's also on Apple Books, on Everrand, on Smashwords, on Tolino, on Overdrive, on Vivlio, on BorrowBox, on bookshop.org, on Gardeners, and on Fable. Now, it's in the ebook version, but I just submitted yesterday at the time of recording this podcast the paperback version. So if it's not there yet, just wait a few days. I will get a mail when it's published, but you will be able to get it in the physical format as a paperback. I don't think they do hardcovers, unfortunately, but the hardcover is available on Amazon if ever that's your thing. You would rather have a hardcover. So that way you know it's like everywhere. Also, the people who speak French, my francophone people. I tried to find you all, but it's difficult because some people have a Gmails. They don't have actual like .fr or Orange.
Orange.
or things like that. But if you are a French francophone person listening to this podcast, make sure that you go to mdelacroix.com, and there's a little banner on top of the website. You can put in your email there, and I'll send you a free copy, of the book in French so that you can review it. By review, I mean that I've translated it in French really fast for all my francophone fans, and I'm just looking for feedback to see if you spot anything. So you're like my focus group, but also my editors. There's a mix between French Québécois, French. Tried it to make it as more Radio-Canada as possible. So it's more about that. It's not so much about the story, but more about can you understand the French in it? So if you want in, just go there. We already have some people, reading it right now. So thank you to those who are taking the time to read it in French and who have read it in English too. So that we can make this book bigger, because it's never over. We still need to get to the audio, and then we need to get to television.
And Germany. Yeah. So the German version, which if you are really good in English and German, like call me, I'll give you a version and you can start translating it. In that way. So that's what happened. Also for International Women's Day, that's different from the book. We made another quiz. And well, first it was broken, but now it's not broken. So if you got the broken version, you can go on the quiz now and do it. It's also on the website, on happysubmissive.com. You can find it. And it's interesting because, of course, still, it was a quiz about Women's Day and what empowerment means to you. For women, of course, but like even as a man. So there's two versions. There's the man version and the female version. And of course, we still have more men. Internet is a man thing, except for Etsy.
Yeah, and Pinterest probably.
Pinterest, I think Pinterest. I hate Pinterest. I don't like Pinterest.
So we had all these people, and most men got, again, a natural leader. So this happens a lot with the quizzes that we do. Most men want to lead, they're natural leaders, but unfortunately the way society is and the way they are in their life and relationships makes it so they're kind of stuck inside. And that's probably why you guys are awesome listeners. Yeah, because you're trying to kind of get that with you and be more confident or empowered in your masculinity in a non-toxic way, of course. And well, same for female, but female we got a lot less, of course, and most of them were ready. So the ready one, they were ready to try things, to try to be a bit more submissive and to less manage stuff. Yeah, I think the feminist girl boss is very like manage everything, do everything. But you know what? Life is about teamwork. Life is about like a couple is about teamwork and teaming up together. It's not about one person managing all of it in that way. So you need to find that perfect collaborator. Or like an avocado. I really like the avocado because it tastes good. Oh, and for a scoop, let's call it like that. I'm gonna be appearing on the Authentically Kinky podcast.
When you're going to be there?
On May 12th at 8, I think it's 8. It's going to air at 8 a.m., I think. Yeah, 8 a.m. in the morning. But anyway, on May 12th, it's going to air on Authentically Kinky. It's going to be recorded prior. So I'm doing this with John. It's going to be quite interesting. It's been a while. So I did like a few podcasts and then was busy doing other things. So I haven't made myself very much available. But if you want to, or if you know somebody who has a podcast and would like to interview me, but also maybe do a little segment for Master and I's podcast here on the Happy Submissive podcast, please do send an email or write a comment. We will definitely reply. We're trying to get back on track with that one so we can diversify a little bit and get more opinions on here, because that would be very interesting. On the Patreon podcast, the Uncensored, Unfiltered, Raw, we were talking about if we could get like real poly couples and stuff like that to talk to us about other things, since we're more in the master sub / monogamous relationship, which is different. Yeah, so this is what's up with the book and with everything that's been happening. Yeah, so this is your book update for the week.
It's time to gossip, girl. Let's gossip with the girl with the choker. Spill the tea, let the world unfurl. She's the queen and we're the jokers.
Okay, Gossip Girl. Well, we're not gonna name names or anything, but Master and I have a
I wish we could.
yeah. Master and I have a very interesting life where we try always, and I use the word try not lightly here, to make friends with people who do what we do.
Yeah, and it's difficult. It's really difficult.
It's a difficult industry to be. Well, being an author, I think would be maybe easier to find people who are authors. They're more like they just write all day. But being in the adult industry, and the people that go towards the adult industry often is for not always great reasons. There's very little people who go in the adult industry to like become more open, explore their sexuality, and do all these things. Most of them just go in there because they think they're gonna make a lot of money. It's a fact, right, Master?
I think people go into the industry for two reasons. Most of the time, it's not the girl, it's the guys. You know, let's do naked pictures. Why? Because I need sex and you don't give me sex. And then we need money.
Yeah.
And I went into the industry for those two reasons. To be honest, if I'm really honest, I went because, you know, I was broke as hell. I've met someone who was in the industry, was doing it, and I didn't have sex.
So these are the reasons that we see, all the time, and it's just a fact. So guys want to do it. Plus, men know men, so it's kind of easy for them to sell to men. So most of them actually pass themselves for their girlfriends, because their girlfriends, not that they don't want to do it, but some of them don't, and that was what happened to us again and again and again.
Scorcher 7.
was that you know, you get into, oh yeah, we do the same thing, great, oh we're so identical,
Let's collab, let's do this, let's make a business, let's help each other make money and all that. Perfect, we're in.
Yes, and then you kind of, you kind of get talking, and we go deep fast too. That's the thing. We're very, very philosophical and intellectual. So we're not like the type of people that talk about the weather if we go on a date or on a, I don't know how to call it. It's a date. You're with another couple. It's kind of like a date. And if we can say play date, we can say date with other couples. So we go there with like so many questions and they wanted mentorship too. So that's something we wanted to offer and that we had because we've been doing this for like 12 years now. And it's good. And we're still learning new things all the time and adapting to what we see. Plus, when we have these new people that come in our lives and that want to do it or are doing it in the industry, well, they bring things that they're doing that maybe like we're not doing. I'm not doing. I'm a bit old school. I'm trying not to be old school. I'm trying to be really open to what's new out there. And so that helps a lot. So we started talking. We started like going deep and like going into like what was the real problem? Like why weren't they making money and why this was not working for them? And again, yeah, it's like
It's often the same reason. And they don't want to do it. It's end up that the guy wants to do it, the girl doesn't want to do it. And the couple were fighting at one point, and she said, like, the guy said, like, you don't make love to me anymore. No, he didn't say make love. He says, like, we don't have sex anymore. Why we don't have sex? And then we realized, okay, the girl doesn't want to do this. The guy does, and the guy doesn't. And also, the guy was like really bad because all he wanted is to have guys to pay for the fantasy or whatever they were like filming and everything. And he just wanted to have like some kind of a girlfriend experience, but it's not for him. It was for the girl. The girl have to do the girlfriend experience.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing. If you're in the adult industry, as a woman, well, the problem is if you're doing it as a couple, then the girl needs to do most of the job. It's not that the guy doesn't do some of the things. The guy usually is great if they can film, if they can manage stuff, if they can come with ideas like content, but also like diversification.
Writing comments because the girls doesn't want to engage with the guys most of the time.
Well, that's what I was getting into. So the problem is that it's a couple job, but it's a girl job. And then the guy ends up like doing most of the job because the girl doesn't want to. If she doesn't want to do that for a living, let's call it like that. And the problem is that, well, you're in an industry where the girl needs to do it. If she doesn't film, you don't have content. So you can't rely on somebody who doesn't want to do something. It just doesn't work. And so guys sometimes, yeah, they're like the behind the scenes that they try to do that, but it's meant to fail because if your girlfriend is not into that, or if you didn't find a girlfriend that was already doing that and that wants to do that for a living, whether it's like camming or any of these other things, well, it will never work because you will try to do as much as you can, but you're a guy. In the end, you can't go in front of the camera and film. Well, not yet. Maybe soon with AI. But right now, you can't do that. And so you're putting all this pressure and you're mad and it's not working out. And this is what we've seen a lot of couples do. And I mean, I think like if we don't go into all the bad reasons, the stuff like that, it's very kind of human to want to try to get out of a bad situation, and doing so by going in sex and money, which is true that when you do start selling sex online, you make money faster than if you start a YouTube channel talking about
AI.
Yeah, or anything more intellectual and stuff like that, because sex sells. It really does, and it really does fast. So you can get a lot faster, but the problem still is the same. If you're not building a brand, if you're not building anything, and if the person who's like making your product doesn't want to make your product, well, you're stuck. And so not to go towards like guys pimping out their girlfriends and stuff like that is still a thing we see, right? It's still happening, and it's not. I think they're not all of them are doing it consciously and because they want to. If they knew what they were doing, they wouldn't do it. But it just kind of so happens that it makes that. That's what happens, and we've seen it many times.
Most of the time we've seen it. It's pretty rare that the girls wanted to do it for real, except you. When we met, you said like, I want to do this. I like this. I want to try it fine, we did it. I was in the industry, but we never met people that really wanted to do that for living consciously without being broke. Except, when we had a couple friends, they jump into that. That was cool because they were adult and they were conscious about doing it. But most of the time, nope, it's not that at all.
Most of the time, and it's true. That's why most of the industry gets a bad rep, and most of the people that go in the industry are. It's true that they're like drug dealers and strippers and people that are already kind of connected to the margins or that are doing somewhat scammy, illegal stuff. It's very rare that you have, like Master, you just said, a couple that have both really good jobs that are perfect. They're in their 40s above. They have kids. They're great, and they decide, oh, we're gonna do this. Yeah,
we're gonna do OnlyFans, and we're gonna be good at it.
Exactly. So those are very rare. Or those like me who really wanted to do it for sexual exploration and for just. I kind of idolized porn stars. Then I went into the industry and realized there's a spectrum of porn stars. But that was really what I wanted to do. It was not about the money or about being, I was broke, but it wasn't that. And so you have most of the people doing that are, these people, unfortunately. And that's why, the stereotype is there. It's real.
I think 90% of the girls that you see on OnlyFans don't want to do this. They really don't want to do it.
But then, it's that's what's interesting because you make money fast. Even though you have not much and you're not very good at marketing or whatever, you can still make money pretty fast. It's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. And so you kind of get trapped into this easy money, a bit like prostitution and stuff like that. And so you get there and you kind of want, this minimum effort, minimum salary, or minimum salary, minimum effort. But they get a pretty good amount of money for just doing sex, which is pretty easy to do. So to then get out of there and go get a normal job, that's difficult.
Even my ex that didn't want to do this end up still doing it after we got separated. So it gives you the idea.
It's and if you build a brand like you and your ex, it's even easier because you have recurring, you have a fan base, and that's not just selling sex online to a few people on those websites. It's more than that. It's those fans that are waiting for you to shoot another video and they will just buy it. Like Piper Blush has many fans like that. They're just waiting to buy content that I make. So it's unfortunate, but it is also very true that this is something that happens, is still happening, and it will still continue to happen, unfortunately. So just a little, FYI. About who really is behind the porn industry.
Submissive women are happier. Is it the lie or the laughter? Hold your tongue and hold your breath. Is it life or just a softer day?
Well, that being said, thank you for listening to the podcast. And well, we have like this little Q&A that we like to do near the end. So that, well, we can engage you more. Yeah, and you can get also our opinion more. So let's do it. You ready, Master?
I am ready.
Okay. What's the difference for you? When did sex become making love in your relationship?
It's never became that. I think, like I said, it depends on the mood. What do you want tonight? I want to make love tonight. Okay, so it's gonna be smooth.
Because I feel that the first night we had sex together, it was more making love.
It was totally making love.
Yeah, it was totally that.
I was afraid to pull your hair.
I told you it was okay.
I'm still afraid. It's so thin.
Well, it's okay. It happened other times. Oh, and if you want to answer to these questions, well, please do. I mean, just leave them there in the comment section, and we'll definitely have fun with them. Also, we analyze and we take all of the comments that we get on the YouTube channel, but also on the social media, and then we pile them all up and analyze them and see what people want to see more of or what people have questions about, and that's how we build the next podcast episodes. The uncensored exclusive ones for those who support us, as well as the ones that's you're listening to wherever you're listening to your podcast. So that being said, please do write. Yeah, write a lot. Doesn't matter how long, just write. Is effing someone else different from making love to someone else? Is one more cheating? I don't think it's more. I don't think it has anything to do with cheating. I think you cheat. Because you cannot have sex with somebody and it still be cheating, right? If like you love somebody else when you're in a relationship with someone, you're cheating.
Yeah. It's really easy. You're making love with someone and your wife doesn't know or your husband doesn't know on a Friday night, you're cheating.
Yeah, but then if you're also having these long talks and these long conversations over text on Instagram with another person that is not your couple and you start feeling things, that's also cheating.
If your wife doesn't know it, it's cheating.
So it's the not knowing that's cheating.
It's slowly the not knowing.
No, keeping it secret, yeah.
Then after that, if your wife know it and she's saying, I think you're cheating right now, then it's a talk, but she knows.
Yeah. So either you open your couple or you stop. Can you go back? Once you've had the click, can sex go back to just effing? I don't think it's a click.
I don't understand the question.
Well, I don't think it's like your relationship at the beginning starts with you're only effing and then it becomes making love. Like I said, I think it's a mix.
I think you should start a relationship with making love, then you go do the F kind of thing, because that's what I think, for no reason.
Okay, cool. But then it depends, like if of course if you're at a sex party and you want to do this kind of sex scene and it's a random stranger you're with, then it's probably going to be more effing. Yeah. But like it could become your partner later. We don't know about this. This is complicated.
Leave a comment.
Oh. Be honest. Do you F your partner or make love to them? Does your partner know the difference? Oh, so maybe it's different for every partner.
It is different from every partner.
So I could say that, oh, master, you made love to me. And you could be like, nope, that was not love.
But I think the difference is really the roughness. That's it.
So if your mascara drips and if you're crying a little bit, then that's effing.
Yeah.
Well, for the girl. What would it be for the guy? Would be like the slapping, the choking.
If you keep your lipstick all the way and it's still red, I think that's making love.
It's love. If there's no more lipstick, then there's the other one. If she doesn't wear lipstick, well, just, the hair. The hair is a good indicator. Most girls don't want to, like, no, don't mess my hair. Well,
Don't come on my hair.
Yeah, that. If submission turns effing into making love, what does dominance turn it into? Okay, so is there, if you're doing something like a master sub or, well, more like dom sub type of scenario where you would like do it like they do it in BDSM, kinda, more in that way, then you would have it so that if it's like submission for just this hour, like a couple that is role playing BDSM.
You can do BDSM and still make love. 50 Shades of Grey.
But I agree that it's not because it's necessarily rough that there's no love into it.
No, it doesn't matter. I think, F and making love, it's just a roughness. That's it.
Roughness level. Yeah. Okay. But that would mean that the rougher you are, the less love making. But there's still love involved.
Okay, yeah. It's still love involved. It doesn't matter. There could be or not love involved. It doesn't matter at all.
Okay. Yeah. So it's two different entities. Oh, have you ever been with someone where it never clicked? Like it never. I guess it never worked. I think we've all been with people who like.
Yeah, it happened to me.
Yeah, you can't. It's not you can't orgasm, but it just doesn't work.
No,
right?
I think you could orgasm. The sex could be okay because I don't know how else you can say no. The sex was great. No, so it clicked. So the sex was okay. No, but nah.
Nothing more.
Nothing more.
Would not go to making love, you mean? Or would not go to love?
Even
Just-
with that person, you can like F or make love. It's
Mm.
at the end you go like, I don't know.
Nothing more. Don't have other feelings or other desire to
For
do
some
more.
reason, I don't know. We could watch hockey, right?
Heated rivalry, maybe. That would help. I don't know. I think it's helping a lot of people right now.
A lot of people in the village.
Yeah. And a lot of girls are into gay guys now, I think. It's going to become like the next... guys are really into like lesbian girls. I think now girls are getting really more into gay guys, especially because of heated rivalry. I don't know if it was a thing, but maybe it's more of a thing now. Maybe like because of feminism and all that. You'll have that one girl that wants to have all these guys.
Is there a lot of girl who liked Brokeback
Yeah,
Mountain?
a lot. Well, from what I know.
Okay. Next
Girls
question.
like gays. It's a thing. Next question. There's no more question. But we can definitely talk about the way that people in the podcast poll said that they wanted to talk more about it was training versus grooming. Yeah. So that one is still on the hook for probably.
Yeah, that's going to be a next episode, I think, especially with the Patreon one, because it's going to be like an entire hour of that subject.
Yeah, we need to go really, really like in the rawness of it, because there's a lot of it borders a lot of things that yeah.
There's a thin line between
Yeah.
grooming and submission.
Yeah, and
I have a
training.
lot to say about that. So please go to the Patreon.
Patreon.com/happysubmissive. Thank you all for being here. This was amazing. Thank you to all of our awesome supporters. And, well, thank you for everybody who is sharing this podcast or is listening to it while they're in their car with other people and making them discover it. Or with their partners and just want to talk more. If you are one of these people, don't be shy. Please do leave a comment. Tell us about it. And keep on spreading the word, because Why Submissive Women Are Happier, the book, which is a memoir. So the people are still asking me, what is it? It's a memoir. And there's no images in it because it's a memoir. If you want images, just Google Piper Blush.
Did you wrote it with an AI?
This is the question I always get.
It's a freaking memoir.
It's a freaking memoir. Like, how can you write it with an AI? This makes no sense. If you use AI to write your memoir, please tell me about it.
It's because you're really popular.
Just because you're Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it knows all your life and it can definitely write your memoir. I'm not Taylor Swift, no. And what I wrote about was not what Piper Blush was doing. It was everything that we never showed on the internet. So there's no trace except for my own writing of it. But still, thank you for the questions. I guess people are deferring laziness to writing, and they all think that authorship is dead, but it is not. I'm the proof of this. So go check it out. Yeah. Check it out now. And until the next time, well, make sure that you also go to our Instagram, Happy Submissive. Yes, that easy. I post reels on there, videos, photos. You can follow. There's candids. So if you want to engage more than just the podcast, well, go to our Instagram and have fun over there.